Well, welcome back, everyone. I usually don't like to start with statistics, but what if I told you that in Saratoga County there is over 1,000 points of contact regarding youth homelessness in Saratoga County? I mean, that's an issue that we tend to think is relegated to the big cities, the urban environment. But in Saratoga County and in Warren and Washington County, it's something we have to deal with. Joining me today is the Associate Executive Director of an organization called CAPTAIN. And we'll tell you what that acronym means in a second. It's Andy Gilpin. Welcome, Andy.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, it's great to have you here. Boy, this subject is one that we could talk about for 30 minutes in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Let's start by telling our viewers, what is CAPTAIN?
So CAPTAIN stands for Community Action for Parents, Teens, and Interested Neighbors. So it started as a coalition years ago, 1977, almost 38 years ago now, and around some issues around southern Saratoga County and youth, and has just grown over the years, and now encompasses the entire county and beyond in the capital region. So,
let's describe for our viewers. First, I think the age group that we're really primarily focusing on here is 13 to 20. Now, if any of you have had children in that age group, you know that that's the time that they sort of test themselves. That's the times that they experiment, and that's the time that they really look at you sometimes as a parent and think, I'm out of here. And if that's heightened by poverty issues or conflicts at home, emotional issues, abuse issues, and whatever, these kids you find are immediately, they're out of the house.
Yeah, I mean, even adding into that mental health issues. I know it's a great prevalence of mental health issues these days. So all those factors together, or multiple conditions that work together, can really create a lot of conflict at home. And so youth will typically create agency for themselves and leave on their own. Or the conflict reaches a point where they'll be kicked out, and just tempers have flared, or law enforcement becomes involved. Just a number of different issues that the kids take to the street. Maybe start couch surfing, staying with friends, staying with other people, staying with other family members, but temporary. And that's the key is. And then sometimes they end up on the streets, and they end up trying to fend for themselves on the streets.
Now, you come into a lot of contact. We said over 1,000 a year.
Yeah.
So you come in contact with a kid who's on the street, homeless, male or female. You can provide them with a bunch of services, right? Let's run down some of those, starting with housing.
Sure. Yeah. Well, on the street and just at face value, when they meet with them, we can take care of any immediate needs they might have there. With some clothing or maybe food or drink or things like that. But most importantly, we can provide emergency shelter. So we have access to not only our shelter, which is 13 to 17-year-olds, but there's other shelters that are 16 to 20, or even adult shelters that are 18 and over. So there's a lot of different environments that we can try to get them off the street into that safe environment of a shelter where they'll get case management, they'll get services, they'll get other support services, they'll get access to maybe future housing with foster care or residential program or transitional living. So it's a way to get them off the streets into a safe environment. We also try to work sometimes with the youth to see if they can rebuild a relationship at home. Can they return home? Can they go to another family member, some other kinship relationship?
It's really a safety net.
Yes.
Really, when you look at it, before we went on air, Andy was telling me that there are educational services as well. So if if they're having trouble in school, you can help them there, and that could be high school or college if you think of that 13 to 20-year-old age group, right?
Yeah. That transitional age group, yeah.
Boy, you tend to think it's always someone else's problem, and I just really encourage everyone out there to take a look at this. Think if you know of a family that's in conflict. Think if you've seen a kid on the street. And they're homeless. I mean, we see them here in Saratoga during the summer. And Saratoga is a destination, not only for the rich and famous, right? But Saratoga is a destination for kids who think that they might get a job or they might find a better life.
Right. Or traveling to see the show. We talked about that a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
concerts.
There's a large population of youth that are very transient in the summer months that travel around, that wouldn't consider themselves so much homeless, but they consider themselves traveling. But still very vulnerable to exploitation, other kinds of issues that happen with homelessness and being run away from home. So,
a statistic that also surprised me is that you would think it might just be a bunch of boys. We're guys, and we think, oh boy, I'm out of here. I'm going to try the world. But a lot of girls, and it might be mostly girls, right? You told me.
Yeah. So our shelter, it's about a 60-40 split. That's 60% of the youth that come to our shelter are female, 40% male.
Wow. All right. There's an event coming up that we want to make you aware of at Skidmore College. It's a day-long event, so if you're a teacher, if you're in hospital and emergency services, if you're a parent, if you're anybody in a community who might be touching this issue, tell us about this event.
Sure. So we've partnered with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and Saratoga County Youth Bureau. The Youth Bureau received a grant from the state to put on a conference of awareness about trafficking, human trafficking, and commercially sexually exploited children, which is the issue that's gained a lot of attention lately, where children are brought into, usually exploited and manipulated to come into a situation where they have to trade sex for different things. And so they're being exploited and by, different people. Might be what started as a boyfriend, what started as in a friendship. It may even be a caregiver. It's just some really an ugly situation that needs to have a light shined on it, and that we start addressing it. So it's a day-long conference. Skidmore has graciously allowed us to have it there. They're hosting the conference. We're going to go from 8:30 to 3. There's going to be 4 different workshops that people can go to. We're going to have a national speaker that's going to talk about. She's a victim and a survivor of trafficking. She works out of Boston. She has a great understanding of the issue, understands the culture, the lifestyle, what brought people into it, what brings youth into it, how they stay entrenched in it, what are the risk factors that you should look for, and then just telling people what you can do.
Now, the date of the conference is the 29th?
Yes,
What day of the week is the 29th?
It's a Thursday, so it's Thursday, October 29th.
Okay, at Skidmore starts at like, I imagine in the morning, like 8:30 or something.
Yeah, so we're going to start registration around 8:15 or so, but the keynote speech is at 8:45.
And this is free?
It's free to anybody. We have free lunch as well at the Skidmore campus in their dining hall. And so there's 2 morning tracks and then 2 afternoon tracks as well.
So, and again, between all of the seminars that they're having, the one that stuck in my mind was the risks. You may not understand initially. It might be a conflict which starts as an argument. That's a risk. But there may be a number of risks. And you may witness this. You may see this, and all of a sudden those triggers. It's like, oh, this is going to be a situation. It's going to be a conflict. It's going to be a conflict that's not going to have a happy ending. Right. And let's face it, we do live in a day and age when there are a lot of very manipulative people out there under the guise of friends or boyfriends or caregivers or whatever that get these kids in before they know it, they're hooked. They can't get out. For any number of different reasons. Again, the conference is Thursday?
Yep, Thursday,
October the 29th at Skidmore. It's open to the public, all-day seminars and all kinds of issues related to teen homelessness.
Yeah.
Andy, thank you for coming in. Thank you for the work that Captain does.
Thank
it's a real benefit to our community.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity for this. It's been wonderful to talk about it.
Great. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, LookTVonline.com.